Hello and welcome back to Mark's House and Garden UK. Now if you follow my channel you'll know that I love plants with big leaves because I just love that large leaved jungle effect. So in this video I'm going to share with you several of my large leaf plants, and you might want to choose these if you want to create a jungle garden. However, there are some caveats. One of them is banned, one of them is very invasive, and a third of them at the moment is being blighted by quite a severe virus. Incidentally, if you want to know what's going on behind me, I'm getting on with the garage conversion, which I'll be sharing with you on YouTube in the very near future. Let's get back to these large leaf plants. So let's get the banned one out of the way first. It's Gunnera. Now if you don't know whether I'm correct about this being banned, search the Gunnera Ban on my channel where I read the legislation to you. I've gone away and done the research. If you've got it, you can keep it. You're supposed to destroy all the waste materials by burning them or taking them to the local tip. You're not allowed to plant it, you're not allowed to propagate it, you're not allowed to give it away or buy it or sell it. But if you've already got it, you can keep it. Gunnera used to be called Manicata. There is also one called Tinctoria, but technically now in the UK they're all called Cryptica. But you can see here, it's got huge leaves. Now that is small in comparison to some of the leaves you'll see in stately homes. Incidentally, there's a trowel down here with some leaves on it, and the reason that's there is because I found a newt the other day, so I put it on there and just left it down there. So anyway, Gunnera Cryptica, large leaves. So that's the one that's banned. Let me talk to you about the one that's very invasive. A beautiful, incredible, impressive plant, the Tetrapanax. Now I call it Tetrapanax Rex, but I've been told it's not Rex. But anyway, there we are. Tetrapanax, the rice paper plant. Huge, big leaves. True to form, it's just started raining. This is the one that's quite invasive. If you watch my video from Sunday, I'm worried about this plant because it keeps sending up pups. You only have to disturb the ground around the basin, it sends out puffs. Well, and all this growth is from 1 year, and down there is another pup. So again, large leaves but somewhat invasive. My next large leaf plant is right behind me here. It's the Musa Basjoo, the hardy green banana. I'll give you a closer look. You can see the leaves towering above me. You can also see what happens when they are exposed to wind. They get tattered, but I think that's a kind of an evolutionary adaptation to stop the leaf blowing off altogether. This leaf here is 6 foot long. This one isn't quite so damaged because it's sheltered. Imagine the photosynthesizing that can do when it gets light on it. Amazing, beautiful big leaves. Now this is supposed to be hardy, but really it's just the roots that are hardy. You do tend to lose the leaves in the winter time. I've actually just gone in and put my coat on because it started throwing it down. So let's look at 3 very similar large leaf plants. They're over here. And they're all part of the Colocasia family. Now, that one there is Colocasia pink china. Lovely big leaves, quite a hardy plant. Might die back to the ground in the winter, but will come back again. And spreads readily around the border. I started off with just one of these, and now you can see I've got several of them here, and here, and here, all the way through this wonderful jungle border. That's Colocasia pink china. This one is a different plant. It looks the same because it's a Colocasia, but that's Colocasia Esculenta. Taro, or elephant's ear plant. What's interesting about that is it's a food crop. They eat the bulbs, taro bulbs, in many parts of Asia. And if you go to an Asian supermarket, you can buy the bulbs and plant that. And here's one I prepared earlier, down at the back of this border here, if you can find it. There is one of those that I planted from a bulb. Let me see if I can get down to it. And there it is, can you see there? It's growing up. That's another one of those plants. I love the way the water sits on the leaves. That's because the leaves are classed as hydrophobic. Again, it's an adaptation that stops them from rotting. The water sort of sits like mercury on top of the leaf and it doesn't get absorbed. So we've got pink china there, and Esculenta there, and this is a new one I've just bought. she got that from B&M Bargains, and I've lost the plant label. It's around here somewhere. There it is. There's a, oh no it isn't, but there's another one. Look at those lovely black leaves. I will find the plant label and put the name on the screen. So we've got 3 Colocasias, lovely big leaves. Now you might be thinking, if I was a proper gardener, I know the names of my plants, but when I'm talking to the camera, things very often slip my mind and I can't remember the name of that plant, but I'll find it and I'll let you know. So we've talked about Gunnera, we've got Tetrapanax, we've got Musa Basjoo, the hardy green banana, and down here we've got our Colocasia collection, pink china, Esculenta, and that purple one, whose name will be appearing on the screen as we speak. Now the one I talked about, which has got the virus, is a Canna. This is a Canna here. This is a beautiful purple chocolate coloured Canna. That's not been virused. It's about to flower. We'll have a lovely bloom on that in a week or so. Now, the one that's got the big leaves is called Musifolia. You might mistake it for a banana, but it isn't a banana. It's definitely a Canna, and it's up here. Look at the size of that for a Canna. Beautiful, huge, big leaves. We're talking about 18 inches long. Great big foliate plant, lovely grape. I buy that for foliage, although it does actually flower. Not had a flower on one myself, but it goes from kind of over there all the way over there, and you can see the stalks growing up here in the back of this border. Can you see them there? Vertical stalks all the way through. Comes from a clump of bulbs. Now they do say Cannas, you're supposed to dig them up every winter. I never have, and they've always come back. So there we go, Canna Musifolia at the back of the Tetrapanax next to the Musa Basjoo, and again underplanted with lots of Colocasias. Which brings me to another large leaf plant down here. I've got 3 of these in this border, and I've got another 4 in the border around my pond. Now this is Fatsia japonica. Lovely big plant. There's one there, and then if we go through into the fern garden there's another 2. And you can see the leaves better on this one over here in the corner actually, if I just hold the camera above Pan's head and rotate it downwards. Can you see there? I'm not using an external mic today, which is why I'm speaking a little bit louder in the hope that you can hear me. Fatsia japonica. Lovely great big leaves on that plant. I'm going to take you down to my wildlife pond because I've got a tree down there which has got big leaves. And here it is right here, look. The Paulonia, the foxglove tree. Now this, I've only had in this border for about 6 months. Let me reach up and grab one of these leaves. Look at the lovely leaves on that now. The sun's behind the camera, so let me just rotate a little bit, otherwise we won't get a good view of that leaf. Sometimes difficult when you're working in British weather with the camera because the light changes constantly. But you can see there, if I put my hand on that leaf, it's already about 12 inches across. I'm 6 foot tall, my span's about 6 inches. That must be nearly a foot. Now that plant, again, comes with a bit of a caveat because it grows incredibly quickly. It can get 6 meters in height, in additional height every year. So the answer to that is to pollard it back in the springtime, and then you'll get more of a low tree. I've just come to the other side of it to try and give you a better view with the light on this side of it. Now I saw one of these on my trip to Stockholm a couple of weeks ago, and it was enormous. So again, there's a caveat, keep your eye on it because it can go crazy. Whilst we're down here, let's have a look at the other Fatsias. There's one of them. I think it's called spider's web, again the name escapes me, and there's another one over here called lady's fingers. I think it's lady's fingers again. I do apologise for my lacking of memory on some of the names of these. I've got one there and one there, can you see? So there we go, my collection of large leaf plants. You can see behind me a tree fern. That's got large leaves, but they're not really leaves. They're more fronds, aren't they, or crosias. Hope you've enjoyed that, and I'll see you soon for some more large leaf plant adventures. Bye for now.